Hi, I'm Kate with the Productive Teacher, and today we're going to practice spelling the long oo sound with the letters O-O. This is the spelling that we are most familiar with when we are making that long oo sound, O-O, like in moon or spoon. So today you probably will want to have a whiteboard or a piece of scratch paper somewhere to work because I want you to work along with me as we practice spelling these words where the oo sound is spelled O-O. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to tell you a word. We're going to count the sounds in the word, and then we're going to spell each sound until we have spelled the entire word. Let's get started. This is a picture of a baboon. Baboon. How many sounds do you hear in baboon? There are 5 sounds in baboon. What's the first sound you hear? B. What letter makes the B sound? The letter B. What's the next sound you hear? B. Ah. What letter makes the ah sound? A. You could also say baboon, and then the A is making a schwa sound, and that's fine too, still spelled with an A. What's the next sound you hear? Ba, b, b, another B. And what's the next sound you hear? Ba, b, ooh. Remember today, that ooh sound is spelled with 2 O's. And what's the last sound you hear in baboon? N. The letter N makes the N sound. This is how you spell baboon. Let's talk about the schwa for just a second because a lot of these words have schwas in them. When you have a multisyllabic word, 2 or more syllables, one of those syllables is going to be super clear with the vowel sound. That's called the accented syllable. The other syllables are going to be less clear. We call them unaccented syllables, and that's where schwas come in. We're just very lazy and do not pronounce all of the vowels in a multisyllabic word. So that's going to come up multiple times today. All right, to erase that, let's see our next word. Oh, go back to that. Okay, here we have balloons. Balloons. Our word is balloon. How many sounds do you hear in balloon? There are 5 sounds in balloon. Let's spell them. What's the first sound you hear? B, b. What letter makes the B? The B. Good job. Our next sound, b, we've got the schwa. Remember, I warned you they were coming. The letter A makes the schwa sound in balloon. What's the next sound we hear? B-l. Ul, we spell with the letter L. We need 2 of those. I think just to protect that A from being affected by the 2 O's. I'll have to get back to you on why we have 2 L's in balloon. We also have 2 L's in ball, so maybe it comes from that. What's the next sound we hear? B-l. Ooh. Remember, O-O are making the ooh sound today. And what's the last sound in balloon? What letter makes the N sound? The letter N. This is how you spell balloon. Let's go to our next picture. Here we have bamboo. Bamboo. How many sounds do you hear in bamboo? There are 5 sounds in bamboo. What's the first sound you hear? B, b. The letter B makes the B sound. What's the next sound you hear? B, ah. Short A, we spell it with the letter A. What's the next sound you hear? Bam. What letter makes the M sound? M. What's the next sound you hear? Bam, b, b. What letter makes the B sound? The letter B. What's the last sound in bamboo? Ooh. We're going to spell it with 2 O's. Notice that bamboo didn't really have a schwa in it, but there would be a less accented syllable in bamboo. All right, let's erase and go to our next slide. This is a boomerang. Boomerang. How many sounds do you hear in boomerang? There are 6 sounds in boomerang. Let's spell them. What's the first sound you hear? B. What letter makes the B? B. What's the next sound in boomerang? B. Ooh. O-O. What's the next sound you hear? Boom. What letter makes M? M. What's the next sound you hear in boomerang? Boom-er. Can be spelled several different ways. In boomerang, it is spelled E-R. What's the next sound we hear? Boom-er-a. Long A sound, spelled with the letter A. And what's the last sound in boomerang? Ang. Ng is spelled N-G. This is how you spell boomerang. Let's erase, go to our next slide. Here we have a broom. Broom. How many sounds do you hear in the word broom? There are 4 sounds in the word broom. What's the first sound you hear? B. Lots of B words to start off this unit. B. What's the next sound? R. What's the next sound? Ooh. O to make the ooh sound. And what's the last sound you hear? Broom. What letter makes The letter M. That's how you spell broom. So erase, go to our next slide. A kangaroo. This word is kangaroo. How many sounds in kangaroo? There are 7 sounds in kangaroo. What's the first sound you hear? K, k. Now, ordinarily, I would hear that A coming next, and I would be thinking C, but kangaroo is a rule breaker, probably because it's not from English. We borrowed it later on. So we have the letter K making the K sound in kangaroo. What's our next sound? K, A. Letter A making that A sound. What's our next sound? Kang. We have the letter N making that sound. What's our next sound? Kang. G. We hear the G. Now, if you had wanted to put that N and G together in one sound box, that would be okay. I separated it out because we really hear the G in kangaroo. It's up to you. Remember, all of this is about mapping it for your mind. So if there's something that works for you that doesn't match what I do what works for you. Okay, what's our next sound? Kanga. We've got a schwa. It is spelled with the letter A. What's our next sound? Kangaroo. What letter makes the sound? R. And what's the last sound in kangaroo? Ooh. 2 O's. This is how you spell kangaroo. Let's erase it. Move on to our next slide. This is a lagoon. Lagoon. How many sounds do you hear in the word lagoon? There are 5 sounds in lagoon. What's the first sound you hear? Ul. What letter makes the ul sound? L. What's the next sound you hear? Oh, that's a schwa. We've got the letter A making the schwa sound there. Now, I know today the A has made all the schwa sounds. It's not always like that. Just a coincidence. All right, we've got la, g. What letter makes the g sound? The letter G. What's the next sound? La, g, ooh. O makes the ooh sound. And what's the last sound in lagoon? What letter makes the n sound? The letter N. This is how you spell lagoon. Let's erase, go on to our next slide. This is moon. How many sounds do you hear in the word moon? There are 3 sounds in the word moon. What's the first sound you hear? What letter makes M. What's the next sound? Ooh. Ooh is O-O. What's the last sound? The letter N makes the N sound. This is how you spell moon. Let's go to our next slide. This is a pool. The kids are having lots of fun in the pool. How many sounds do you hear in the word pool? There are 3 sounds in the word pool. What's the first sound? What letter makes the sound? The letter P. What's the next sound you hear? Ooh. O-O. And what's the last sound you hear in pool? Ol, the letter L. Nice job. Erase that. Go to our next slide. This is a spoon. Spoon. How many sounds do you hear in the word spoon? There are 4 sounds in the word spoon. What's the first sound you hear? What letter makes the S sound? The letter S. What's the next sound you hear in the word spoon? Sp. What letter makes the P sound? The letter P. What's the next sound we hear? Sp. Ooh. Ooh is O-O. What's the last sound you hear in spoon? N. What letter makes the N sound? The letter N. This is how you spell spoon. Okay, we're going to erase that. Go to our next slide. Oh, look at the cute baby. She's got a little bit of drool, and that is our word, drool. How many sounds do you hear in the word drool? There are 4 sounds in the word drool. What's the first sound? D, D. What letter makes the D sound? The letter D. What's the next sound in the word drool? D, What letter makes the sound? The letter R. What's the next sound in drool? Ooh. O-O. And what's the last sound in drool? Ol. What letter makes the ol sound? The letter L. Awesome job. Our next picture. This is a bunch of food. Food. How many sounds do you hear in the word food? Oh, no. There are 3 sounds in the word food. How many, or what's the first sound you hear in food? What letter makes the F sound? The letter F. What's the next sound in the word food? Ooh. O-O. And what's the last sound in food? D. What letter makes the D sound? The letter D. This is how you spell food. All right. Our last picture, these are tools. Our word is tools. Notice I have the S at the end of tools because we have more than one. How many sounds do you hear in the word tools? There are 4 sounds in the word tools. What's the first sound you hear? T, t. What letter makes the T sound? The letter T. What's the next sound in tools? T, ooh. O-O. What's the next sound? Tool, ol. What letter makes the ol sound? The letter L. And what's the last sound in tools? Z. Sounds like a Z, but it's not. It's the letter S making that Z sound. All right. That is all the spelling practice for today. Thank you so much for working with me. I'll see you next time.